remaining stagnant. And the objective of this session is to give you certain input so that you can improve your score. Yeah, I guess that's fair. Maybe get an extra 4 or 5 questions that is probably enough to clear cutoff, or you're already clearing cutoff, ensure that you get high scores, and that's the objective of this session. A little bit about me, that's me, in case you want to know how I look. That's how I look. My name is Gejo. I did my engineering from IIT Madras, chemical engineering, in 1997. Did my MBA from IIM Calcutta, and I've been training since 2001. That would be about 14 years. Alright, so what we normally do is we read the question, we try and apply the correct math, we try and solve the question and mark the correct answer. This is what we normally do when we solve any question. There is one more thing that we can actually do, which is try and tweak the step number 2 and step number 3. Instead of applying the correct math, all we try and do is think of ways to identify the wrong answer choice. Because you are given 4 answer choice, out of which 1 is correct, which implies that 3 answer choices are wrong. So if somehow you can eliminate the 3 answer choice without actually applying the mathematics that is required to answer that question, we should be able to answer and get the right answer. And that, to me, is a smart quant cracker, which is to avoid correct math, or better put, is that all we are trying to do is somehow get to the answer so that we can get those 3 marks. Right, so there is, I'll have to start with the disclaimer though, is that it is not always a substitute for a good old math. So if you know the math for a particular question, my suggestion is to do actually the math. But if you don't know the math, don't hit the button next yet. SQC is here to help. So you need to understand this in that context. This, whatever I'm going to share with you in the next 3 hours, is something that will probably help you get your score from X to delta X. But you still need good maths to clear the section. Right, so let's get started and look at question number 1 and see how we can apply the concepts. Okay, so if you read this question, it says AB times CD is 1073 and BA times CD is 2117. Find the value of AB plus CD given that AB, BA and CD are all 2-digit positive integers. So you are given AB times CD is 1073. You are given BA times CD is 2117, and you are asked to find out what is AB plus CD. Now, this is how you'll probably do using math, is that you take these numbers and try and factorize them. And if you factorize this number 1073, it is 29 into 37. Now mind you, getting 29 into 37 itself is a difficult choice because these two are prime numbers and are higher prime numbers. Alright, so if you look at 2117, it will be 29 times 73. Then you realize this is CD, this is AB, this is CD, this is BA. Then what you need to find out is AB plus CD. AB plus CD therefore would be 29 plus 37, which will be equal to 66, and you mark the correct answer choice. And that is how you normally use math to solve the question. But let's try and see how we use Smart Quant Crecker to answer this question. Now, let's again look at the question in a different light. So what is given is AB times CD is 1073, and we need to figure out what is AB plus CD. Now, if you notice, this is an odd number, and it is odd number we have got as a product of 2 numbers, AB and CD. That implies the only possibility is both these numbers have to be odd, which means AB has to be odd and CD has to be odd. What does that mean? Therefore, if I apply it here, AB plus CD will be odd plus odd, which must be an even number. So your answer must be an even number. The answer cannot be an odd number. This is an odd number. This is an odd number. This is an odd number. So you can eliminate those 3 answer choices and get to 66. And what have we done here? We have not really figured out as to why 66 is the right answer choice. What we did was to figure out why the answer choice is wrong. So now someone might be wondering, what if there were, for example, 66, 62, and 68, and probably 70, and so on and so forth? There's probably one more thing that you could do. If you look at this number, AB times CD, look at the unit digit, which is 3. How will we get a 3? Which means the unit digit of B and C should be such that the product has to give a 3. You will get two choices. 1 times 3 will get you a 3, or a 7 times 9 will get to a 3. So 7 times 9 is 63, right? So therefore, if this is the case, the first one is the case, you realize 1 plus 3 will have to end with a 4, and 7 plus 9 has to end with a 6. So therefore, the answer choice must be something that either ends with a 4 or ends with the 6. So you can still eliminate options like 62, 68, and so on and so forth. But what if your answer choice is 64 and 66? You can still do one more thing, is you can apply another math funda. That funda is this, that if I don't know whether how many of you know this concept, if for example, if m plus n equal to 10, the maximum value of m and n would be 5 times 5, which is equal to 25. I hope you know this concept. If you know this concept, if you look at 64, option A, let's say 64, AB plus P, the CD equal to 64, the maximum value AB times CD can take is 1024, and here it is 1073, so it can't be 64. Yeah, the point that I'm making here is this, which is our first principle, that always remember that a person can create great questions, but creating great options is an outstanding talent. And what we're essentially trying to do is use that and eliminate options. Now, always remember this, a question setter takes probably about 1 hour, 2 hours to actually create a question. But then, the thought process that actually goes into creating options is actually very less. And therefore, in a lot of cases, we can use this. And you will see that in actual CAT questions, that you see how options can be used to eliminate the answer choice, right? So let's look at another question. I hope this is clear. So basically, what I'm saying is we are using answers or answer choice to get to the answer. Let's look at another question. Now this says, find the maximum value of 30 plus 9x minus 3x squared. This is a quadratic function and the modulus of that quadratic function. And there's a range of x is given, which is from -1 to 4. So we need to find the maximum value of this particular quadratic function. But the range is given -1 to 4, and we are given 4 answer choices. Now, if you want to apply the correct math, this is how you probably do. You start saying f of x is this. So this is a function, let's call it g of x. And f of x is, I'm still having some problem. Just a second, just give me 2 minutes, guys. I'll just sort this out. Yeah, it is also getting connected. There is also getting connected. Only this. Sorry guys for that. So there are a lot of attendees whose microphones are getting activated. So I asked someone to sort that out. So be patient for some time. Yeah. So anyway, let's get back to this. Yeah, so let's get back to this. It says there's a function which is modulus. Let's call this g of x. And Therefore, the g of x is this, which is minus 3x squared plus 9x plus 30. Then you use the math and kind of take minus 3 out, and then you write it as minus 3 into x minus 5 into x plus 2. Then you get root 2 roots, x equal to 5 and x equal to minus 2. Then you know that you can push that 2 roots there. And you know that there is the coefficient of x square is negative, so it will be an inverted parabola. But then what we need is f of x, which is modulus of that function. So the modulus f of x is modulus of that function, which forces the value to take positive. And if you look at the range, which is between minus 1 and 4, that's the range between minus 1 and 4. And that is the maximum value within the range is the maximum value of the function. So if you know your math, then you know the maximum value happens if alpha and beta are the roots. The maximum value will happen between in alpha plus beta divided by 2. 5 minus 2 divided by 2, you'll get that to be 1.5. You substitute and get the answer. Okay, so that's the math that you'll do. But we'll try and do, and then you mark the answer. That's the correct quant cracker method. But what we'll try and do is do something very different. Is that what we need to find out is the maximum value of this particular function. And here I'm going to introduce you to some of the greatest numbers, which is going to be useful. These I'm going to call as smart numbers, which are 0, 1, and minus 1. You will keep seeing me. You'll keep seeing me using these numbers quite often. Now let's look at this. If x equal to 0, let's put x equal to 0 and see what value this function will get. If x equal to 0, this function will take a value which is 30. What does it imply? Okay, what does it imply? The function takes the value 30. We need to find the maximum value. Now the maximum value can be either 30 or a number that is greater than 30, because the function can take a value which is 30. What does it imply? Any value less than 30 will not be the maximum value. Thereby I can eliminate 18 and 93 by 4. Again, let me clear this. Alright, so what we said was when f of 0 equal to 30, that implies the function can take the value which is 30. Therefore, a maximum value must be a number which has to be either 30 or greater than 30. A number less than 30 cannot be the maximum value, right? So, and which eliminate two options. Now let's substitute our next favorite number, which is f of 1. Which means if I put the value equal to 1, 30 plus 9 minus 3 gives us a value which is 36. What does that now imply? That we got a value which is 36, which means whatever is the maximum value must be a value which is either 36 or greater than 36. That eliminates option number 3, which means our answer has to be 147 divided by 4. Now in this approach, if you ask me, why is the answer 147 divided by 4? I have no idea, but I have a very clear idea as to why option number 1, option number 3, and option number 4 is not the right answer choice. And this, my dear friends, is what I'll call using the options. And you can, in a lot of cases, you can use the options without actually knowing the correct math method. You can get the answer to this question. All right? So that makes sense? Can I? There are a lot of questions that is. All right, so let's carry on. So this is our principle number 2. Always remember this, that a smart number, or we'll keep using this, 0, 1, minus 1, in that order, is a very useful number in all our technique of Smart Quant Crecker. And we'll keep using this during this workshop. So actually for the next set of questions, what I'm going to do, I'm only going to use the Smart Quant Crecker method. I'm not going to solve all the questions using correct method, right? So, but mind you, all these questions can be solved using good math. And if you're good in math, you should probably try and solve it like that. But the idea is to help you understand other methods in which you can get the answer to the question. Yeah, so idea is to learn the smart method so that you can use it when math research you. And one more thing is, I may skip one question. There are about 53 questions that I'm supposed to do in 3 hours. So it may not be possible that I can push everything in, but I'll try and ensure that I do all the important questions for sure. Let's look at the third question. This was in fact a CAT question. So the first thing is that a lot of data. So let's read and understand what the question is asking us to do. It says a shop stores X kg of rice. The first customer buys half this amount plus half a kg of rice. The second customer buys half the remaining amount plus half a kg of rice. And the third customer also buys half the remaining amount plus half a kg of rice. Thereafter, no rice is left in the shop. Which of the following best describes the value of X? The story is, let's visualize this story a bit. So we have some kg of rice in the beginning. The first customer buys half the amount plus half a kg of rice. Then something is remaining. The second customer buys half the remaining plus half a kg of rice. Then something is remaining again. Then the third customer, the last customer, buys half the remaining plus half a kg of rice, and the final value is 0. So if you want to use a correct, we'll start with X, write X by 2 plus half, and then do all the math. But what we can also do is, if you look at the option starts with a 2 and goes on to 18. So let's see what happens if you substitute a value which is 2. So if you substitute a value which is 2, the first customer buys half the amount plus half a kg of rice. Half the amount is 1, half a kg more is 0.5 more, so that will be 1.5. So 2 and 1.5, what is left is 0.5. So now the second customer buys half of what is left, which is 0.25, plus half a kg, which is going to be 0.75. Now this is not possible because we only have 0.5 kg of rice, so 2 cannot be the value. Now if we put 3, the first customer buys half a kg, half of 3, which is 1.5 plus half a kg, that makes it 2. What remains is equal to 1. The second customer buys half of remaining plus half a kg, which is 0.5 plus 0.5, which will be equal to 1, and this will be 0. The moment you get a 0, and your eyes has to blink, because now it's a good number. So all you have to do is push this 3 here, so then it becomes 1 and it becomes 0. So what we suddenly realize is that odd numbers are beautiful. Therefore, what we have to do now is check only the odd numbers. Now, should I check for 5? Actually, don't check for 5. Why? Because if answer was 5, which option will you mark? 5 is contained in option number 1. 5 is also contained in option number 2. You cannot have two answer choice for the same question. So all you have to do is check for the next number, which is 7. So if it is 7, the first customer buys half the amount plus half a kg of rice. That is 4, 3 will remain, and then we know that the story continues and get to 1. So what did we do here? We did, instead of actually solving using X, we plugged in the value from the option to get the answer to the question. Now some of you may be wondering, how this is too much, we have to go till 18. But you realize you don't have to go till 18. First of all, we realize after 3, that all you have to check is that odd numbers, 9, 11, 13, 15, and 17. Now, we realize 5 need not be checked. If you actually look at 11, 11 is there in option number 3, 11 is also there in option number 4, 11 need not be checked. And why do we have to check 13 to 15? If you did not get an answer till 4, automatically option number 5 is the right answer choice. There is not much of checking that you'll have to do. So here, what we realize is that instead of actually doing what the question is forcing us to do, we can also do things slightly differently, actually plug in the value and get the answer to this particular question. So that's the principle. Substitution is a good substitution to a correct math method. It works almost every time, beautifully. Always have a look at options. So henceforth, whenever you see a question, and this is a question that you really can't do, or you're not getting the right method, just look at the options and see whether you will be able to answer the question. You will always find sometimes useful options, sometimes you will find useless option as well. Let's look at, for example, this question. It says, if A by B plus C equals to B by C plus A equals to C by A plus B, which is equal to R, then R cannot take any value except, we have to be careful with this. R cannot take any value except, which means two negatives. So he's asking what values can R take. Now let's go back to our smart numbers, 0, 1 and minus 1. In this case, we can't substitute 0 because it will become infinity, but we can substitute a value which is 1. What is it? What am I actually saying? This is a general case, which is a by b plus c. Let me actually plug in a specific case. Let's plug in the value where a and b and c is equal to 1. If a and b and c is equal to 1, we realize, we realize that r can take the value half. 1 by 2 equal to 1 by 2 equal to 1 by 2. So what we know for sure is one of the values that r can definitely take is r, is half. Therefore, if an option does not have half, that option will be incorrect. When you see option number 2 and option number 4 is incorrect because it does not, it cannot take, it does not have the value of half. Now, find with option number, you have to find with option number 1 and option number 3. The only difference between option number 1 and option number 3 that you see is this minus 1. So what do we do now? And okay, now this is what we're going to do. Now let's assume all we have to check is whether or not r can take a value which is minus 1. That we need to check. If r can take a value minus 1, which satisfies this condition which is given, we'll mark 3, otherwise we'll mark option number 1. So this is what we'll do. Let's take a by b plus c equals to r. That implies a by b plus c equals to minus 1. I'm trying to put the value minus 1 and check whether this particular condition satisfies. Now this implies a equal to minus of b plus c. So you have just taken b plus c that side, and here what we'll do is take a particular case. Always take particular case and check. So let's take a value of b equal to 1, c equal to 1. If I put b equal to 1 and c equal to 1, a will be equal to minus 2. Now we have got a value to check. And all we have to do is now check what will happen to b by c plus a. If it is equal to minus 1, then we know that we are on the right track. So if we check b by c plus a, we'll get that to be equal to minus 1. We'll also check c by a plus b, we'll get that to be minus 1. Then suddenly you realize r can also take the value which is minus 1. Therefore answer choice is C. What have we done here? If something is true for some unknown values, it must be true for my known values. Which simply means that if somebody is asking for a general case, you try and check for a specific case. And this works beautifully in almost all the time. So this is the key concept. If somebody is given a general case, we'll check for specific case. Let's see, for example, this particular question. Now mind you, this question can be solved using mathematics or correct math, but our interest or my interest specifically is to help you understand how to use SQC techniques. So key is to learn techniques, not really how to solve a particular question. So when I'm answering a question, don't think of how I'm solving a particular question, or learn the technique that I'm using to solve these questions. Alright, so let's start. The first thing, I know how many of you can guess, is that the first thing I'm going to say is option number 3 cannot be the answer. Can anyone tell me why? Option number 3 can tell the answer. You can shout it in the chat box. Yeah. So a lot of you are saying put x equal to 0 and x equal to 8 or minus 8. Great. But the first thing that I realized is, let's eliminate the obvious. This is less than or equal to. If there is less than or equal to, then how can we get less than? What will happen to the equal to? It is the original condition is less than or equal to. The final answer must also have less than or equal to. We can eliminate. All right. So, anyways, now let's put a specific value. When x equal to 0, so if you take the left hand side becomes minus 2, and the right hand side is 0. Minus 2 less than is equal to 0 is true. Minus 2 less than is equal to 0 is true. That implies x equal to 0 must be in the range. When I put x equal to 0 to this particular inequality, I get minus 2 is less than or equal to 0, which is a true statement, and therefore I know that x equal to 0 must be a part of the range, which means that I can eliminate option number 4 because option number 4 does not have x equal to 0. So now you look at all the other options. This is from minus 8 to 1, this is minus 1 to 8, minus 8 to 8. Yeah. So now in this case, my numbers 1 and minus 1 is useless because that is there in all the options. So we'll have to do improvise a bit. What we can do is we have x raised to 2 by 3 and x raised to 1 by 3. So there is a number we can use which we know the cube root of. So x equal to 8 or x equal to minus 8. Those are the two values that you can substitute. X raised to 1 by 3. So there is a number we can use x equal to 8. We'll get x raised to 1 by 3 equal to 2, x raised to 2 by 3 equal to 4, plug that back to the original inequality, we get 4 is less than or equal to 0. So it'll be 4 plus 2 minus 2 on the left hand side is equal to 0 is a statement. So x equal to 8 must not be in the range. You can eliminate those two answer choices and get to option number 1. So here instead of solving the inequality, and this works almost every time with inequality, we can, Siddharth is saying that does the normal method of question 1 take much less time? Yes, it does. But here, you need to understand. What I'm trying to tell you is certain SQC techniques which help you answer the question. Okay. So for example, this question, again, the normal method is also pretty straightforward. So it's given f of x is given as x cubed minus 4x plus p, and it's given f of 0 and f of 1 are opposite sign. If we put f of 0, when I put x equal to 0, we'll get the value which is equal to p, and f of 1, we get the value which is p minus 3. Now what we want is the range of p which gives opposite signs. What does it imply? P and p minus 3 has to be opposite sign. So when p is positive, p minus 3 has to be negative, or when p is negative, p minus 3 has to be positive. Now, let's take our favorite number. Let's substitute p equal to 0. When you substitute p equal to 0, this you will get as 0, this you will get as minus 3. Then suddenly you realize that 0 does not have any sign. 0 is neither positive nor negative. So p equal to 0 cannot be part of the range. So that will eliminate certain answer choices. Yeah. So that's what we did. We took p equal to 1, plus or minus 1. We put p equal to 0. There's no sign. We can eliminate these two choices. The next thing, all you have to do is, then you are left with these two choices, which is option number 2 is saying p can take a value between 0 to 3. Option number 4 is saying p can take a value between 0 and minus 3. All you have to do is plug in one value. Let's take a value which is 1 and check. And if you check the value of p equal to 1, you will get 1 and minus 2 for f of 0 and f of 2. The sign is changing, so 1 must be in the range, and therefore the only option that is what now 1 is in the range, which is option number 2. Yeah. So all we did was substitute particle values and get the answer to this question. Now again let's learn substitution. We will work on substitution in one more question. The first thing is, let's read the question. If both the roots of the quadratic equation minus 2x squared plus bx plus c equals to 0. So this is for a general case. So we have a b and a c. It says both the roots are negative. Then what is the sign of b plus c divided by bc? Now the first thing, if you look at these options carefully and look at these two options, option number 3 is saying cannot be determined. Option number 4 is saying will vary according to the value of b and c. So option number 3 is saying cannot be determined. Option number 4 is saying will vary according to the values of b and c. What does it mean? These two actually means one and the same. So you cannot determine actually means will vary according to the values of b and c. That implies option number 3 and option number 4 cannot be the answer, because one question cannot have two answers. So we can straight away eliminate that particular question. Now here is where we're going to substitute. So what is given is roots of the quadratic equation is negative. So let's take a specific case. Let's take both the roots being minus 1, which is negative, and write the quadratic equation. That become x plus 1 the whole square, which is x squared plus 2x plus 1 equal to 0. Now let's compare to the original equation. What we see in this original equation is the coefficient of x squared is minus 2. So now there is time to improvise. So all you have to do now is multiply -2 to this equation that we got so that we can compare. So we get minus 2x squared minus 4x minus 2 equal to 0. Now what is the value of b? B will be equal to minus 4. What is the value of c? C will be equal to minus 2. So he has given a general case. What we did was take a specific case and check for the specific case. Now let's check for the sign. For b equal to minus 4 and minus 2, you realize that the sign is negative, therefore answer is negative. Again, what did we do? He gave us, the question that he gave us a general case. We took a specific case and answered the question. Now if you look at question number 9, this particular question is the substitution. Hi Amit. Amit is saying that I copied everything from Gautam Puri's webinar. Actually, Smart Quant Crecker session is a repeat of the same session. Just the faculty is different. And yeah, Amit, sorry. Now this smart, by the way, this Smart Quant Crecker session is the same session that we would have done in all the cities. Yeah, so it says, let's get back to this. So we have to, let's look at substitution. Now what we have is, so what is given is, the question says find all the value of p, so that 6 lies somewhere between the roots of the equation x squared plus 2 times p minus 3x plus 9 equal to 0. So that is the equation. Now let's understand what the question is asking us. 6 is lying between the roots of the two equations. So that means if the roots of the equation is alpha and beta, it is basically telling us that 6 is lying between alpha and beta, and we need to find the values of p so that 6 lies between those two roots. Now what we want to figure out is instead of looking at the general case, let's try and figure out a specific case. Now we'll use this concept. If alpha and beta are the roots, we know that 9 would be the product of the root, which is alpha beta, and p minus 2 times p minus 3 will be minus sum of the roots, which means we'll get alpha and beta could be, one option could be 1 into 9, another option would be minus 1 into minus 9, another option would be 3 into 3, another option would be minus 3 into minus 3. That implies we have 4 specific cases to check. We do have 4 specific cases to check, and what we're going to do is, let's check with just one case. Let's see. Now if the roots are 1 and 9, we know that the question says 6 has to lie between the roots of the equation. In this case, 6 is actually lying between the roots of the equations 1 and 9, which means if I substitute the value of alpha and beta as 1 and 9, then whatever is the value that I'm going to get for p must be in the range, because 6 is actually lying between the roots of 1 and 9. I hope that is clear. So that's what it says. So if for this case, whatever p we'll get must be in the range, and that will probably help us eliminate the answer choice. Now what we're going to do is, so now we know that alpha is equal to 1, beta equal to 9, so alpha plus beta will be equal to 10. So we know that 2 plus p minus 3 equal to minus 10. From there we'll get the value p equal to minus 2. Now p equal to minus 2 must be in the range. So whichever answer choice does not have p equal to minus 2 will be a wrong answer choice. So there you see that this is p greater than 6, minus 2 is not in the range. Here also minus 2 is not in the range. Minus 2 is not in the range. P is greater than minus 3 by 4. Minus 2 is actually here. So minus 2 is not in the range. Therefore we'll get 1. If we can only eliminate 2 answer choice, probably we'll go for one more and substitute. So again, this is a slightly tricky one to substitute, but substitution actually helps, right? One more, and here I'm going to again give you the power of these numbers, which is our smart numbers. Let's look at this question. It says, if the roots of the equation x cubed minus ax squared plus bx minus c equal to 0 are 3 consecutive integers, then what is the smallest possible value of b? Now all we need to find out is the smallest possible value of b. Now we're going to make this approach. We'll find out a possible value of b by substituting or figuring out some jugaad. We'll find out a possible value of b, and then the smallest possible value there cannot be equal to or greater than b. This is what I'm trying to say, is that first of all, let's take 3 consecutive integers. Let's go to a favorite number. Let's take a specific case, which is -1, 0, and 1, because we are looking at 3 consecutive integers. If the roots are -1, 0, and 1, the equation becomes x cubed minus x equal to 0. And let's check the smallest possible value of b. So b is the coefficient of x. So what we get is b is to the coefficient of x. We get the value of b to be equal to -1. What does it imply? We got the value of b to be equal to -1. We need to find the smallest possible value of b. Now the smallest possible value of b will either be -1 or some number less than -1. The smallest possible value of b cannot be a number greater than -1. That eliminates 0, that eliminates 1. That eliminates 1 by root 3. In fact, even 1 minus root 3. And we just got lucky actually. And this to be is -1. This is a cat question, in fact. Yeah. Fortune favors the brave. So, what have we done so far? Basically, what we have done so far is using options to eliminate. And the second thing that we've done is try and convert any general case to a specific case. What I'm also going to do is, once the session, this set of questions is done, I'm going to pick up a few questions from the mock cat. In fact, I'll take mock cat 10 and help you understand how we can actually use this concept effectively and get the answer to the question. Okay. Let's look at series. Now this question actually looks pretty dangerous, but we can use Smart Quant Crecker techniques to answer the question. What is given is, find the value of 36 times s if s is a series. Now this is a series of infinite terms, and we realize that this first term plus the second term plus the third term and so on and so forth, infinite terms. We need to find out the 36 times. So this series is some term 1 plus another term 2 plus another term 3 and so on and so forth. What we need to find out is 36 times s. Now 36 times s will be 36 times term 1 plus 36 times term 2 plus 36 times term 3 and so on and so forth. Now what we're going to do is, let's actually find out, all we need to find out is our answer is somewhere hidden in this 4 answer choice. Let's not try and find the right answer, but try and eliminate the wrong answer one. So let me just clear this one. Alright, so let's just take term 1. If you take term 1, that is 6 times 2 into 3 times 4 times 2. So 36 times term 1 will be, this is what? This is 1 by 8, 36 by 8, which will be 4.5. Now the first term itself is 4.5. How can the answer be 4? Or how can the answer be 4.5? Because I'm adding my 36 times s is 4.5 plus something, right? So we can eliminate the first 2 answer choice. Now we need to figure out whether it is 5 or the 6. Now what we need to do now is go and look at the second term. 36 times the second term, 7 divided by 3 times 4 times 5 times 4, and you will get that I think to be 20 upon, or 21 upon 20, yeah, 21 upon 20, yeah, you will get this to be 21 upon 20, approximately equal to 1. So you get the first term to be 4.5, the second term approximately equal to 1. If I add both, this will be 5.5 times something. How can the answer be 5? Therefore you will get answer to be 6. And this, let me This is a method that always works. So especially in so approximation is something that definitely works. Anshul is asking if a option can't be negated this way, 5, 6, 7, 8, then what? Let me take one more example. In fact, this is a CAT question. Okay, we need to find the infinite sum of the series. What we realize is the terms are reducing. What is this? This is 25 divided by 2401, is approximately 0.01. The next term will be 36 divided by 7 raised to 5. So what we can do is just chuck all this and approximate. So we know that 4 by 7 is approximately 57%. This is about 0.57. 9 by 49, 9 by 50, approximately about 18%. This is 0.18. 16 by 343. 16 divided by 343, 1% of 343 is 3.43. 4 3s are 12. 5 3s are 15. So 3.4 is about 4%. That'll be about 0.04. And the last fellow is 25.2401, approximately 1%. So what we can say is if we add all that up, 57 plus 18 plus 4 plus 12 is approximately so what we know is we want to get a value which is approximately 1.8, and what we're going to check is which of the value gets me 1.8. Now here what helps is your ability to calculate. So let's start. Option number 1. Option number 1 is 27 upon 14. Now 27 upon 14 can be written as 1 plus 13 upon 14. Now what we essentially need to check is whether the answer is 1 plus 0.8. So we need to check whether 13 upon 14 is 0.8 or 13 upon 14 is equal to 80. What we're checking is what is 80%. 8%. That's what we'll check. Yeah. So 80% of 14 is 11. So option number 1 is option number 2. Check like that. Option number 2 is 21 divided by 13. Rahul, I think you have to. Rahul Prasad, you have to turn off your microphone. Thank you. Second option is 21 upon 13 is 1 plus 8 upon 13, and 80% of the 13 is 10.4. So 8 upon 13 would be less than 80%. So that gets eliminated. Third option is 49 upon 27, which is 1 plus 22 upon 27. 80% is 27 is 21.6. This is pretty close to 80%. So we'll keep aside. We'll do 256 divided by 147. 256 divided by 147 is 1 plus 109 divided by 147. All we need to check is whether this is 80%. So therefore, what we try and find out what is 80% of 147. 80% of 147, we'll get that to 117. It's pretty easy to find out this. You just multiply by 8, you'll get that to be approximately this. So but 109, therefore it's less than that. So you know the answer is 49 divided by 27. So this is one way of answering the question. Another way of answering the question is to understand how to handle the series. So you have a square happening on the numerator and a GP as geometric progression happening on the denominator, and then you know how to do that if you know the math. I'm not going to spend time on how to do the math. I'm just trying to help you understand that almost all infinite series questions can be easily handled in this method. Now let's look at logarithm. A lot of people normally get psyched using this question. There's nothing to be afraid of logarithm, right? We will again try and substitute options. So let's do this. What we have is 5 to the power of log x to the base 10 equals 50 minus x raised to log 5 to the base 10. Yeah, so if you look at option number 1 says x equal to 1. Just a substitute. So this becomes 5 to the power of log 1 to the base 10 equals to 50 minus 1 to the power of log 5 to the base 10. And what you realize is, you know that I'm sure that you know log 1 to the base 10 equal to 0. So 5 raised to 0 equals to 1. 1 equal to 50 minus 1 raised to anything is 1. 1 equal to 49. How the hell that is possible? Therefore, option number 1 is incorrect. So we have eliminated option number 1. This is easy to check. I'll tell you why. Again, 5 to the power of log x to the base 10 equal to 50 minus x to the power of log 5 to the base 10. Now, this means 5 to the power of log, let's substitute the value 1000. 1000 to the base 10 equals 50 minus 1000 to the power of log 5 to the base 10. Let's not worry too much about this at this point in time. But what is log of 1000 to the base 10? We know that 10 cube is 1000, so that will be equal to 3. This becomes 5 cube is equal to 125. 125 equal to 50 minus something. 50 minus thing. How can 125 be 50 minus something? So therefore, this option also gets eliminated. So we eliminate this option, we'll eliminate this option. Let's check for this guy. 5 to the power of log 1 to the base 10, sorry, 10 to the base 10 equal to 50 minus 10 to the power of log 5 to the base 10. Now what is log 10 to the base 10? Log 10 to the base 10 equals to 1. 5 to the power of 1 equal to 5. 50 minus, we'll have to handle this guy. So let's try and approximate this. Now log 5 to the base 10, how to approximate? I know the log 1 to the base 10 and I know log 10 to the base 10. Log 1 to the base 10 I know is equal to 0. Log 10 to the base 10 I know equal to 5. Log 5 to the base 10, let's approximate to 0.5. So if I do that, 10 raised to 0.5 is square root of 10, close roughly about 3, or how far can it go? 5 is 50 minus 3 or 50 minus 4, not possible. The answer choice is yeah, so all we have done is, some of you want me to repeat this question. Let me go through this presentation. This is what I've done. Option number 1, I've taken option number 1, log of 1 equal to 0. So the left hand side will be 5 to the power of 0, which makes it 1, and the right hand side makes it 49. So left hand side is not equal to right hand side. Eliminate option number 1. Option number 4, log 1000 equal to 3. Left hand side becomes log 1000 to the base 10 equal to 3. Left hand side becomes 5 cube, which is 125. For right hand side, log 5 to the base 10, we approximate that to be 0.5 because log 1 to the base 10 equal to 0, log 10 to the base 10 equal to 1, log 5 to the base 10 is somewhere in between those two things, 0.5. So right hand side becomes 50 minus root of something. So this is like 50 minus root of x, approximately. This is not exact, okay guys. And therefore, if I substitute 1000, it will be 50 minus root of 1000. So that's how we eliminated this, and that's how we did this particular question. Alright. This is a slightly easy one. I'm not solving it. This is also, I believe, a CAT question. Anyway, let me solve it. Actually, the math is actually simple. It says log x to the base 10 equal to log log minus log x to the base 10 equal to 2 log 10 to the base x. I have a humble suggestion to all of you, is that log is actually very easy concept. All you have to do is study it. There are some simple rules. If you know those simple rules, it's easy to solve. Let me explain those simple. For example, look at this question. This was a CAT question. This is log of x to the base 10. Now, root of x is x raised to half. So log of x raised to half to the base 10 can be written as half log x to the base 10. This is equal to log 10 to the base x. You want to ensure that all the base are same. This can be written as 1 by log x to the base 10. This will be 2 by log x to the base 10. So log x to the base 10 minus half of that will be half of log x to the base 10 is 2 by log x to the base 10. If you cross multiply log x to the base 10, the whole square equals to 4. So log x to the base 10 will be equal to 2, or log x to the base 10 equals to minus 2. If equal to 2, x will be equal to 100, or x will be equal to 1 by 100. This is as simple as that. My simple suggestion is please don't leave log. Yeah, I'll share all the principles once again at the end. Yeah, sure. Okay, even all these dangerous looking questions can be used Smart Quant Crecker technique. I think one of the things is substitute, learn to substitute. It is very handy. So what is given is if x equal to a times b minus c, y equal to b times c minus a, and z equal to c times a minus b, then what is the value of 1 by abc times x squared by yz plus y squared plus xz plus z squared plus xy, given that x into y into z is not equal to 0. So what you immediately realize is you can see a 1 by abc and every option has got an abc. So abc is irrelevant. What we need to figure out is x squared plus yz plus y squared plus xz plus z squared plus xy. Alright. So if you notice this, all we have to do, so it's given as x equal to a into b minus c, y equal to b into c minus a, z equal to c into a minus b. Just take some value, a equal to 1, b equal to 2, c equal to 3, get a value of x, get a value of y, get a value of z, substitute in this equation and see what value you get. Whatever the value that you get must be the value, must be the answer choice. The key is this: if this expression is true for any value, it must also be true for my value or the value that I'm taking. If some of you are, so all we have done is put a value of a, put a value of b, put a value of c, find a value of x, find a value of y, find a value of z, substitute this and get the answer to this question. Alright, another thing that you also notice is x plus y plus z equal to 0, ab minus ac plus bc minus ba plus ca minus ca. So you can actually substitute any specific case, x equal to 1, y equal to 1, and then you get z equal to minus 2. Substitute that there and you will get value to be equal to 3. Yeah. So what are we? Now this question is I'm going to help you understand the power of 0 in this particular question. Let's solve this. So Deepshika, I think your microphone is on. Yeah, can you switch it off, please? There's some disturbance because of that. Deepshika Sharma, if you can do that. Just a second, guys. Just a second, guys. Alright, sorry, I'm back. So let's look at this question. It says, sum of the first n terms of a geometric progression is given by, so this is sum of n terms is given by alpha into 1 by 3 to the power of n plus beta. Is given that sum of infinite terms of this series is unity. What does that imply? So this implies sum of infinite terms is unity. That means when n equal to infinity, sum equal to 1. So if let's substitute this, alpha times 1 by 3 to the power of infinity plus beta, that should be equal to 1. So we know that 1 by 3 to the power of infinity would be equal to 0. Right? 3 to the power of infinity is infinity, therefore 1 by 3 to the power of infinity will be equal to 0. From there what we get is, so from there what we'll get is this value is equal to 0 and therefore beta should be equal to 1. Alright? I hope that is clear. So what we get is sum of infinity equals to 1, or when n equal to infinity, sum equal to 1. we substitute n equal to infinity to this equation. 1 by 3 to the power of infinity equal to 0. Therefore, beta would be equal to 1. Now, how do we get alpha? And this is a small trick, and it can be used sometimes, and which is take the power of 0. When I say power of 0, I'm not saying power of 0. I'm saying the awqat of 0 types. Yeah. So can you think what will be the sum of 0 terms? I have not even wrote the series. The sum of 0 term has to be equal to 0, which means when n equal to 0, sum must be equal to 0. When n equal to 0, sum must be equal to 0. Let's plug that here. Sum of n equal to 0, sum must be equal to 0. That means alpha into 1 by 3 to the power of 0 plus beta should be equal to 0. 1 by 3 to the power of 0 equal to 1. So alpha plus beta equal to 0. We have found that beta equal to 1. Therefore, alpha equal to minus 1. Alright. So what we did was to use 0, the trick of 0, to get the value, one specific case. This is we've taken one specific case. So alpha equal to minus 1, beta equal to 1. Now all we have to check is this. Minus 1 plus 1 equal to 0, can't be equal to 1, incorrect. 3 times minus 1 is minus 3, plus 1 is minus 2, can't be, is not minus 1, incorrect. Minus 1 plus 2 times 1 is 2, which will be equal to 1, it says minus 1, incorrect. And you can check this here. 2 times minus 1 is minus 2, 3 times 1 is 3, equals to 1, and that is the answer choice. These are slightly tricky, jugaad techniques, but I'm still helping you understand how useful 0 is, yeah? Let me, let's look at this question. It's actually substitution again. Whenever you have a general case, it's given a minus b, modulus of a minus b equal to modulus of c, and modulus of a minus c equals to modulus of b. Then we need to figure out what is the value of b square plus c square. Now this is a general case. So what we'll always try and do whenever somebody asks for a general case, let's convert that to a specific case. Let's find out one value of a, b, and c which satisfies this particular condition, and for that value of a, b, and c, we will find the value of b square plus c square and check the answer choice. Let's take, for example, a to be equal to 3 and b to be equal to 1. 3 minus 1 and c will be modulus of 2. And if you actually check this here, 3 minus 1 will be, 3 minus 2 will be modulus of 1. So this particular equation satisfies for a equal to 3, b equal to 1 and c equal to 2. So what we have done is, they have given a general case. All that we have done is try and convert the general case into a specific case. Converting a general case into a specific case. Now let's check. What we need to find out, the value of b square plus c square. What is the value of b that we got? 1. What is the value that c that we got is 2. So b square plus c square is 1 square plus 2 square should be equal to 5. So whichever is the option which does not give us the value of 5 will be a wrong answer choice. Let's start with option number 1. A square, which is 3 square, is 9. 9 minus 4 gives the value of 5. I'm not saying this is the right answer choice. This may be the answer choice. What I'm basically saying is, if it is not equal to 5, then it's wrong. Let's look at option B. 2 times b into c, b equal to 1, c equal to 2. 2 times b into c equal to 4. What we needed was 5. What we got was 4. Therefore, that will be incorrect. A square, a is 9. A square will be equal to 9. So what we wanted is 5. What we got is 9. That will definitely be incorrect. A square plus 2bc, definitely wrong. This will be 9 plus something. Actually, 9 plus 4 will be equal to 13. What we want is a 5. What we got is a 13. Incorrect. The answer choice is 1. So instead of breaking your head in terms of trying to figure out how to solve this mathematically, just plug in some value and get over with it. And this works awesomely in almost all the cases. Yeah. So whenever you have a choice, whether you know the math or not, whenever you have the choice to plug in, the question is, Harshit, what if answer option 2 also gives 5? Then we hunt for another choice, right? Another values of A, B, and C and check. And somehow down the question has to give up. and we'll get the answer. Now again, general case, again we'll substitute. It says in a regular polygon, the number of diagonals is k times the number of sides. The number of diagonals is k times the number of sides. If the interior angle of the polygon is theta, then what is the value of k? So again, this is general case. It is for any polygon, we'll take specific case. All we need to find out is which are the wrong answer choice, and whenever you're given a general case, my suggestion is to convert that into specific case and answer the question. Let's start. The smallest regular polygon, let's take a triangle. So the we need number of diagonals. Number of diagonals is equal to 0. Number of sides equal to 3. A theta, this regular polygon will be 60 degree. In radians is pi by 3. Mind you, this is given in radians. This question says number of diagonals is k times the number of sides. Number of diagonals equal to 0. Number of sides equal to 3. K will be 0. Is the slide going slow? Can all of you see the slide, please? Can you get a feedback? Okay, thank you so much. Okay, some of you have a slow connection. So anyway, I think all of you can see the slide. What I've taken is, let me quickly go through this. Somebody told me to take a regular polygon. We took a regular polygon with 3-sided polygon. The number of diagonals is equal to 0. Number of sides will be equal to 3. For 3-sided polygon, the theta would be equal to 60 degree. In radians is pi by 3. The question says number of diagonals is k times the number of sides. Number of diagonals k times the number of sides. For the specific case, k should be equal to 0. What does that tell me? When theta equal to pi by 3, k must be equal to 0. If k is not equal to 0, then the answer is incorrect. Two options get eliminated. Because when theta equal to pi by 3, this 0 comes in the denominator, that becomes infinity. The answer can be either 1 or 2. So now we'll have to look at 1 or 2. Let's go to a square. Same funda. The number of diagonals in a square is 2. Number of sides is 4. The angle is 90 degree, which is pi by 2. The question says number of diagonals is equal to k times number of sides, the k equal to half. Now what is it? We got one more specific case, which is when theta equal to pi by 2 radians, k should be equal to half. Plug that value in, one more options get eliminated, you reach the right answer choice. So he has asked, so next time whenever somebody asks you for any general case, and if you're good in maths, do using math, and the easier way to do is convert that into specific case. Always. And you'll be able to get the answer to that question. This is a slightly tricky question. So pay clear attention. Then we are going, and I'll help you understand a different concept that works. And there's a very important concept that will help you answer the question. Anyways, now it says the natural number 55555 consists of 65 5s is equal to what? Now this is a specific case. When I say specific case, he's asking for 65 5. Now if you look at the 4 answer choices, what we see is 1 is there everywhere. So we don't have to check for 1. 1 is definitely the answer. Alright, so okay. How many of you can say that option number 2 is definitely false? How many of you can say this option number 2 is definitely wrong? You're saying, someone asked how 1 came. Option number 1 is saying only 1. Option number 2 is saying 1 and 2. Option number 3 is saying only 1 and 3. Option number 4 is saying all 3. Therefore, option number 1 has to be there. Now, why check? Awesome. Yes, I got answer to a very good, Komal. And what we have is 65 5s. And if you actually look at this, here we have multiplied 10 raised to 65 times 10 raised to 12. 10 raised to 65, somewhere this 10 raised to 65 is going to get multiplied with 10 raised to 12. That gives us 10 raised to 77. So that implies the digit will be more than 65. Therefore, one thing we know for sure is option number 2 is not the answer choice. So Option number 2 cannot be the answer choice. So we are left with, so we have to check for 3. And checking for 3 is slightly difficult. Okay, we see this 4, we see this 64, 10 raised to 64 seems to be okay. But actually let's do using a crude way of solving this particular question. Sometimes this crude way is also sometimes good way of solving. So what is this? 1, that is 1 plus 10 plus 10 square plus 10 cube. That is actually 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Somebody is asking me repeat why option number 2 is wrong. So look at this. We have 65 fives. So this has got 65 digits. And if you look at this, it's 5 times a value which the highest is 10 raised to 65 times 1 plus 1, so of 10 raised to 12. So at some point in time, this 10 raised to 65 is going to get multiplied with 10 raised to 12, make it 10 raised to 77, which means the number of digits is going to be greater than 65, right? Yeah, so that's why it is incorrect. Anyways, going back to this particular option, okay, this is 1 plus 10 plus 100 plus 1000, 111. I'm multiplying this by 5. So what we have on one end is 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. Let's understand what this thing means. This is 1 plus 10 raised to 5, 1 followed by 5 0, 10 raised to 10, 1 followed by 10 zeros, 1 and so forth. So you get a number which looks like 1 followed by 1, 2, 3, 4, so many zeros and 1, such a kind of number. So what you're doing, multiplying this. Now if you multiply this you have to just visualize, you don't have to actually solve this. You'll get 5, then you'll get 5, then you'll get 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. And then you see this 10 raised to 60 and 10 raised to 64. You probably can guess that'll be the right answer. That will be an answer choice. So that's it. All I did was multiply, guys. So like quickly, yeah, one second, I'm doing it again. Yeah, let me do this again. I started by saying this is 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. All right. 5 times 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 is 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. What is this number? I wrote that number that looks like 1 plus 10 to the power of 5 plus 10 to the power of 10, so on and so forth. You add that, 1 followed by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros, another 1, followed by 5 zeros, another 1, followed by 4 zeros, sorry. 4 zeros followed by 1, 4 zeros followed by 1. And basically this is getting multiplied with 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. I know that you know how to multiply numbers. This will be 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. The next number will go like that. The next number will go. Next number will go. You can just visualize, and you will see all of these will be 5. So we are getting these 5s, and now you have to figure out whether it will be 65. That you can understand. This 10 raised to 60, 10 raised to 4, 10 raised to 64 will have how many digits? 65 digits. So you know that that number will be okay. Yeah. So it's just checking whether it's correct. Now this is one of the key concepts, and all of you please pay attention carefully to this, because now a few questions we're going to use this concept, and this concept works very beautifully, which is to say that pattern exists. Now if I go back to this question, is that it says a natural number 5555 consists of 65, and let's look at why one is right, and I'm going to use the concept in mathematics called induction. This is actually math concept. Let me not use this word. Now what we have is, you look at this, we have 65 fives, and answer is 10 raised to 65 minus 1. Okay, so we have given a specific case. Let's convert that into general case. We are taking the ulta path. So in general case would be 5555 times n times. The answer would be 5 times 10 raised to n minus 1. Why? When it was 65, this was 65. Now this, if this answer was correct, this logic should be true for every value of n. I repeat. Let me repeat what I'm saying here, and pay attention to me. Is that the logic of this answer, understand this carefully, the logic of this answer is, when it is 65, it is 5 times 10 to the power of 65 minus 1 divided by 9. So the logic of this answer in the general case, when it is n, should be 5 times 10 raised to n minus 1 divided by 9. So when n equal to 1, if the logic is correct, when we substitute n equal to 1, we should get a 5. When n equal to 2, if this logic is correct, we should get a 55. When n equal to 3, if the logic is correct, we'll get 5555. If you get this, we can say because the logic is correct, the logic will also be correct for 10 to the power of 65. Okay, so when I substitute n equal to 1, 9 by 9 times, that is 1, 1 times 5 is 5, n equal to 2, 10 square is 100, 100 minus 1 is 99 divided by 9 is 11, 55, n equal to 3 is 555. What you see is the logic is correct. Because the logic is correct, the answer should also be correct. This is the key funda, and this funda we're going to use in a few questions. So I can convert that into specific general case. Let's, for example, take this series, and please pay careful attention. What we have is, so always notice, for example, any series, let's take the series 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7 plus 9, so on and so forth. Okay, let's look at the series. Sum of one term equal to 1, sum of two terms equal to 4, sum of three terms equals to 9, sum of four terms equal to 16. So you see that this follows a sequence which is n square. So even a series also has a logic, and whatever is other than that logic, which is n square logic, is applicable to every single value, which is what we're going to use to solve this particular question. Okay, now let's look at this carefully. What we have is, we are given this as 2007 terms. Why is it 2007? Series 1 here, series 2 here, so on and so forth up to 2007. This is 2007 terms. Now this is a specific case. Let's convert into general case, trying to understand what the logic is. Okay, and use the logic and see whether the answer is right or wrong. Alright. Now if n Kautilya is saying, can the logic be used in statement 2 and 3 in the previous question? You could try that, but for the third one is slightly tricky to use that as a logic, because that was very complicated looking for. Let's convert this to, that would mean 2008 1. I'm trying to convert case, and this is a process of converting. 2007 means n, 2008 will mean n plus 1, n will mean 2, and so on and so forth. So the logic of option number 1 minus by n. Right. That's the logic. Now what we do is, this is the logic for answer. If the answer number 1, if answer number 1 is correct, whatever is the logic for sum of 2007 terms should be true for sum of 3 terms. So let's say what n implies sum of 1. Sum of this term, this is 1 plus 1 by 4 under root. So that will be 3 by 2. 1 plus 1 by 4 equal to 9 by 4. 9 by 4 is 3 by 2. If this logic is correct, when I substitute n equal to 1, I should get a value which is 3 by 2. And if you substitute n equal to 1, 1 plus 1 equal to 2, 2 minus 1 by 2 is 3 by 2, I get the logic. I get 3 by 2. Now if you actually take n equal to 2, between these two terms, the first one is 3 by 2, the second one you will get a 7 by 6, 4 plus 1 by 9, you get a 49 by 36, 3 by 6, and 16 by 6, 8 by 3. We actually substitute this 2 plus 1 minus 1 by 2 plus 1, you will get the value 8 by 3. Yeah? So, kind of that is the answer choice. Now, let me also explain this slightly differently. Okay, let me also tell you, for example, why this answer is wrong. Option number 3 is, let's say logic is n minus 1 by n plus 1. Because when n equal to 2007 is n, 2008 is n plus 1. So we got sum of one term should be equal to 3 by 2. Therefore, if I substitute n equal to 1, 1 minus 1 by 2 equals to half. We should have got 3 by 2. Therefore, this is incorrect. Let's, for example, look this case, option 2. So option 2, the logic is what? When n equal to 2007, n minus 1 by 2. What we know is when n equal to 1, it should be 3 by 2. When n equal to 1, 1 minus 1 by 1, which will be equal to 0. We are not getting 3 by 2. If we check this, we will not get 3 by 2 any of these answer choice. The only answer that we will get a 3 by 2 is option number 1. Therefore, that is the right answer choice. Okay, let me explain this once again, all of you, listen carefully, is that I've converted a general case, sorry, I've converted a specific case to a general case. What does that mean? Is here there are 2007 terms, right? If there are, I said, whatever is the logic for 2007 term, sum of 2007 term, must be the same logic for 2001 term, must be the same of logic for this term. The logic of all this need to be the same. So if this were to be the answer, for example, if option number 3, 5 were to be the answer, whatever is the logic of option number 5 must get us value for S1, S2, S3. S1, by the way, with sum of one term equals to 3 by 2. Okay. So therefore, so what is 2008? When n equal to 2007, 2008 as a logic, guys, is n plus 1 minus 1 plus n plus 2. Now let's substitute n equal to 1. 2 minus 1 by 3. It is not 3 by 2. Therefore, that is not the answer. Likewise, you check everything, you will get this. And the only value you will get is this below. Therefore, that's the answer choice. Let's take another example. So that therefore, you can understand this better again. I'll come back to this question. One. For example, let's look at a lot of the guys are asking whether the recording will be available. Yes, the recording will be available in your website. So if you are missing on something, you can always go back and check this recording. The complete recording will be available in this. Now you have to be careful with me. Okay, listen to me carefully. I'm going to explain from how to move from specific to general case. Now let's look at this. N factorial, we all know what is n factorial, so we'll not bother. If P is given as 1 into 1 factorial, plus 2 into 2 factorial, plus 3 into 3 factorial, so on and so forth up to 10 into 10 factorial, it says then P plus 2 when divided by 11 factorial leaves what remainder. So now let's understand how to convert from specific case to general case and then answer this question. It works pretty beautifully. If you're able to crack this, how to handle this 1 into 1 factorial, then you're done. Otherwise, you probably will have to use the method I'm saying. How many terms does it have? I'm sure you can see that is 1 term, 2 term, 3 terms, so on and so forth, 5 terms. This is sum of 10 terms. Okay. So what is the question really asking? P plus 2, then P plus 2 will leave a remainder 11, P plus 2 divided by 11 factorial. Therefore, sum of 10 terms plus 2 divided by 11 factorial. Now here is a 10. Here is 11, so I can write this 10 plus 1 factorial. This is what we need to find out. So let's convert this into a general case. When 10 equal to n, a general case implies what? Sum of n terms plus 2 divided by n plus 1 factorial leaves what remainder? Which implies, let's do small case, sum of 1 terms plus 2 divided by 3 factorial. What is the remainder? Sum of 2 terms plus 2 terms plus 2 divided by divided by 2 factorial. Sum of 1 terms plus 2 divided by 2 factorial. Sum of 2 terms plus 2 divided by 3 factorial. Sum of 3 terms plus 2 divided by 4 factorial, and so on and so forth. Right. So whatever, we'll try and understand what is the logic or what answer that we'll get. We'll use that answer and try and extrapolate that and get to here. That's what we'll try and do. Okay. Now what is the first term? 1 into 1 factorial. How much is 1 into 1 factorial? 1. 1 divided by 2 factorial. This means 1 divided by 2 factorial. 1 by 2. What is the remainder when 1 is divided by 2? 1. Let's look at what is the first term? 1. What is the second term? 2 into 2 factorial. 2 into 2 factorial is 4. 1 plus 4 is 5. Sum of 2 terms is 5. Sum of 2 terms plus 2 makes it 7. 3 factorial is 6. 7 divided by 6, again 1. Let's look at third one. Sum of 3 terms. 3 into 3 factorial. 3 factorial is 6. 6 3s are 18. 18 plus 5. 18 plus 5 is 23. 23. Sum of 3 terms is 23. 23 plus 2 is 25. 4 factorial is 24. 25 plus 24 is 1. Everything gives me a 1. Even this has to give me a 1. Answer is 4. Okay, a lot of you are asking me to repeat. I shall repeat. Okay. And again. Okay, so is there any other method to generalize? No. Basically, alright, where did I start? I started by saying this is 10 terms and p plus 2 is sum of 10 terms plus 2 divided by 11 factorial is 10 plus 1 factorial. Okay, I want to find this remainder. So let's use this 10 था, 10 plus 1 हुआ, 1 होगा, तो 1 plus 1 होगा, which is 2 factorial, 2 होगा, the 2 plus 1 will be 3 factorial, 3 होगा, as a 4 factorial. If it goes on like this, 10 होगा, 10 plus 2 divided by 11 factorial. This is what we need to find out. Let's find out one by one. This gave us value 1, this gave us a value 1, this gave us a value 1. Do induction and everything will give us a value which is 1. That's how it is, yeah. I think the next one will help you understand this concept slightly better. Let's look at this for example. Let's look at this for example. It says A1 equal to 1. So I know that the first term equals to 1. He is asking me what is the 100th term. So again, whatever is the logic that is true for the 100th term must be the logic that is true for the first term. So we see a 100 here, we see a 99 there. So what does 99 mean? 100, 99. So that is 100 minus 1. So that is 3 raised to n minus 1 minus what is 200? 200 is 2 into 100. So 2n. That's the logic for option number 1. The logic for option number 2 is 3 raised to n minus 1 plus 2n. The logic for option number 3 is 3 raised to n minus 2n. Logic for option number 4 is 3 raised to n plus 2n. How did I do this? We need to find out for 800. We see 99. If this would have been n, 99 would be 100 minus 1, therefore n minus 1. 200 is 10 into 2 into 100, therefore 2n. Okay, now what we know is A1 equal to 1. What does that mean? When n equal to 1, I must get 1. When n equal to 1, let's substitute. This will be 3 raised to 0 minus 2. We don't get 1. 1 minus 2, we get minus 1. Not correct. When n equal to 1, 3 raised to 0 plus 2. We get answer to be equal to 3. We will not get 3 minus 2. We get a value which is 1. 3 plus 2. We will get a value which is 5. All these are in option. The only logic that worked was option number 3. Therefore, 3 is the right answer choice. This is a question from the CAT. And this works many cases. Especially numbers actually, guys. The numbers I know is troubling for many. But a lot of ways you must trust patterns. The god of pattern exists. Yeah. And you can work with the pattern and get the answer to this question. Again, one last time, for those who are asking to repeat, I need to find out a to the power of 100. Let's take a to be 100. What does option number 1 mean? 3 raised to 99 minus 2 raised to 200. We have 100, we have taken this to be n. 99, I'll take it to be 3 raised to n minus 1. 200, I'll take it to be 3 raised to 2n. Because it was 100. That is the logic. Right? It is given here that a1 equal to 1. Which means when n equal to 1, this logic has to work and give us the value 1. But n equal to 1, this logic is not giving us 1. This is 3 raised to 0 minus 2. 1 minus 2 equals to minus 1. Therefore, it is incorrect. Right? But if I apply this logic, this is 3 raised to n minus 2n. When n equal to 1, 3 minus 2, which is equal to 1. Only this logic is working for a1 equal to 1. Therefore, these 3 are wrong. The only right answer choice is 3. And therefore, alright. Again, this question, this is also a CAT question, in the sense homework, I don't know. I'm sure you have access to these questions, to this PDF. Now, this is how we can work, guys. We need 3 raised to 65, 30 raised to 65 minus 29 raised to 65 divided by 30 raised to 64 plus 29 raised to 64. And I'm sure the PDF links will be shared. I'll ask CL to share the PDF link to all the participants. Yeah. So you can actually, and also share this video to you so you can go back and see the video once again. So we need to refine the value of R. So let's start small. 30 squared minus 29 squared divided by 30 plus 29. 30 cube minus 29 cube divided by 30 plus 29. 30 square plus 29 square, and see how it goes. We see 30, this is 30 square minus 29 square is a plus b into a minus b. So 30 plus 29 is 30 minus 29. 30 plus 29 gets cancelled. 30 minus 29 equals to 1. And if you check this is 30 cube minus 29 cube. 29 cube can be written as 30 cube minus 1. Sorry, 30 minus 1 the whole cube. Then you can apply the funda, right? 30. I'm checking the numerator, right? 30 cube minus 30 cube plus 3 times 30 square minus 3 times 30 plus 1. Something like that, yeah. So this will get cancelled. This is 30 square is 900. 900 to 3 is 2700. 2700 minus 90. Let's take about 2600. The numerator is approximately 2600. Denominator is 30 square. 30 square is 900. 900 plus at the max approximately 1800. Therefore, this is greater than 1. So this was equal to 1. This was greater than 1. And by extrapolation, we can say this will also be greater than 1. Yeah, so we've taken smaller values and got the answer to this question. Okay, we are getting into geometry. And there are some simple rules I'm going to help you for geometry. And let me start by saying that some of the principles that I'm going to use for geometry are something that you may not like. Okay, but it works. I'm going to use a principle saying that Euclid. Alright, I don't know how many of you know Euclid. Euclid is a guy who, kind of people say the father of geometry. He came out with this thing called axioms. Axioms are things which does not have proof. For example, if I ask you, this is line 1, and this is line 2. Which line is longer? You'll obviously tell me line 1 is longer. If I ask for proof, probably you'll slap me, right? So those are kind of axioms. We are making guesstimate. Or if I also ask you, let's say if this is 3 and this is 4, and you will say this is 5. And why is it 5? Most of you will say it's 5 because of Pythagoras theorem. Let me help you understand that this 5 is not because of Pythagoras theorem. It is 5 because it's actually 5. And if I don't know Pythagoras theorem, I can still answer this question if I have a scale. Right, so what we are trying to do is make guesstimates. So let me help you understand how to do this. It says PQ, S and R. By the way, let me also tell you this. These questions can be used. These questions can be solved using simple by the formulas of geometry, right? But please understand the techniques that I'm using here. All right, so let's start with this. P, Q, S and R are points of the circumference of the circle of radius R, such that PQ. Can you see the slide now? A lot of people are saying slide not displayed. Can you see the slide? Okay, thank you guys. Oh, all right, thanks. Okay, P, Q, S and R are points of the circumference of the circle of radius R. Chalo, theek hai. We have a circle of radius R, such that PQR is an equilateral triangle. Something like that. And PS is the diameter of the circle. Something like that. What is the perimeter of the quadrilateral PQSR? This is what we need to find out. Okay. Now, since it is an R, which is general case, let's work with the specific case. And look at this option, and I'll tell you the power of 0. What will be the perimeter when radius equal to 0? What does radius equal to 0 mean? I have not even drawn the bloody circle. If I have not drawn the bloody circle, I have not put the point PQRS. If R equal to 0, the perimeter must be equal to 0, right? But look at this option number 4. When R equal to 0, this option is saying root 3. Now how can this be true? When R equal to 0, the perimeter must be equal to 0. Logic tells us that this can't be the answer. Alright. So usko nikal dete first. When R equal to 0, now we have to check for this. And say, let's take, what happens when R, let's take a specific case, R equal to 1. Okay. And when R equal to 1, this distance is actually equal to 2. Correct? And let me ask you guys, this distance is equal to 1. we are going to do some guesstimates. If this distance is equal to 1, how much does this look like? It looks to me a 1. How much does this look like? This also looks to be a 1. This whole distance is 2. This looks slightly less than 2. You can guess and say this is about 1.7. And this is a very dangerous thing to do. But what I've done is something very simple. Again, I'm just guessing. I've taken the radius to be equal to 2. So this whole distance, I've taken the radius to be equal to 1. If this distance is equal to 1, this looks like a 1 almost. This looks like a 1. This whole distance will be 2. This looks like what? 1.6, 1.7 approximately. So 1.7 plus 1.7 is 3.4. 3.4 plus 2 approximately about 5.4. Okay. Let's check these answer choices. How much? So 1 r equal to 1. Now this is given in, let's convert this into things that we understand. Root 3 equal to 1.7. 1.7 plus, what if the figure is not drawn to scale? Okay, if the figure is not drawn to scale, we'll draw the figure. We'll draw a circle roughly. We'll draw a quadrilateral roughly. We'll draw this roughly. And we'll draw that roughly. And we say this distance is equal to 1. This approximately looks like a 1. This looks like a 1. This is 2. This is 1.7. We can still get it, guys. Yeah? Trust your drawing skills. So root 3 is 1.7. 1.7 plus 1 is 2.7. 2.7 into 2 is 5.4. Right? So what we're essentially doing is convert this into this one. This one will become 5.4. The second one is root 3 and then 7.4. Root of 5. When you want to find root of 5, think 500. 484, 2.2. 2.2 is about, this will be 2.2, this will be about 3.2. So we are looking at 5.4. This is 30 degree. This looks like a 30. Can you hear me? Am I audible? Yeah, okay. Let's get back. All I'm saying is, and trust me with this, and a lot of you are looking at me with a lot of apprehension. A lot of you are looking at me with a lot of apprehension. This is geometry, guys. It's about size and shape. The figure is good. If this is 30 degree, how much is this? This also looks 30 degree. Answer must be 30 degree. It's going to be as simple as this. Yes, Sripati. Okay, one more, last time. If this is 30, this looks 30, therefore must be 30, therefore answer is 30. As simple as this. And first of all, if two triangles look similar, they must be similar. This triangle must be similar to this triangle. The angle actually said. Why can it be 20? How can it be 20? These are... Alright, so I'm going to solve this question using math first. Okay, and then I will give you some techniques which you can use. If this question, it says the figure given below ABC is an isosceles right angle triangle. This is an in circle with O touches the side BC and D at D, AB equal to 2. So this is given that this distance equal to 2. Since it's an isosceles triangle, this distance is also equal to 2. This is a right angle triangle. So therefore this must be 2 root 2. We need to find the distance of BD, right? So this is right in the middle. So this distance equal to root 2. This distance also equal to root 2, right? So then you know this tangent rule. This is a tangent, that's a tangent. So this distance is equal to root 2. This distance must be equal to root 2. Therefore this distance is root 2 minus root 2. That's the maths. Right? So this is a simple math, but I'm going to use this question to give you certain techniques. Yeah. I don't know, a lot of you asking me to repeat some question. Which question you want to repeat? You want to repeat 30? Or shall I move on? You're saying 27 and 28, 24, 29. Oh shit, you're going back. Okay, let me repeat. Okay, this is, I'm going to, 28 will come back later, guys. 1 second, let me carry on. Okay. I'll come back to 28 again, I promise. Okay. So let me do 30. Okay. So all I'm saying is, in this question, this is an isosceles triangle. This distance is given as 2. Therefore, this distance must be equal to 2. Therefore, this distance should be equal to 2 root 2. This is right in the middle, must be. Therefore, this will be root 2. If this is root 2, this distance should also be equal to root 2. That's a tangent rule. Therefore, 2 minus root 2. This distance, this is 2, this is root 2. 2 minus root 2 is equal to half. Now, I'm going to give you something only for the brave. So, if you are not brave, don't listen to what I'm actually asking you to do. Right. You can actually measure. If you have a figure on the screen, let's assume there's a figure on the screen, you can actually measure. What I'm saying measure? Let's first figure out, convert this into good numbers. What is root 2? 1 by root 2, right? Root 2 is 1.4. This will be 1 by 1.4 or 10 by 14. 2 by 2 by 7. 2 by 7 is what? 1.27? 28? 0.28, 1 minus 0.28, 0.7 something. This is approximately 0.7. Root 2 is 1.4. This is approximately 0.6. Yeah. This will be 1.7. This will be 1.4 minus 1.4. Okay. Now here is, for this only for the guys who are brave. Please remember, if the figure is good, you can actually measure. So this, imagine this to be a screen. Okay, imagine this to be a screen. Take a piece of paper, put it on the screen, like that. Mark these 2 points. Let's say you mark those 2 points, like that. And that now is your 2 centimeter. Fold the paper into half, you will get 1 centimeter. Fold the paper once again, you will get a scale. I am saying that you can use a scale, take the scale back and get it here and measure this and mark the answer. Will they allow it in the main file? Why won't they allow? Or at least you can approximate. I'm saying you can approximate. He said, it's like saying this is 2, if the figure is good, that seems to be about 1, that seems to be about 0.5, slightly more than 0.5, will be about 0.6. Alright, so you can use paper, use whatever you want, get the answer. You want to go to IIM, right? Go there and don't feel bad. Let's look at this. Okay, let's look at this. This is all for brave ones. I'm talking to the brave guys who have got a lot of heart. Let's answer this. Let's look at this question. In the figure given below, ABC is an equilateral triangle. Which angles we need to learn? Okay, so what angles will last? They'll last 30 degree, they'll last 60 degree, they'll last 90 degree, they'll last 45 degree. You must know, you know what a 90 degree looks like. If that is a 90 degree, half of that will be about 45 degree. Right, you can look at 45 degree. The key is to understand what is 30 degree and 60 degree. That's kind of dividing this angle into 3 equal parts. Right, that will be about 30 degree, that will be about 60 degree. Right, if you ever get confused using a 60 degree, draw a triangle. Whatever triangle that you draw, most probably you will end up drawing an equilateral triangle that will be about 60 degree. Alright, anyways, let's get back to this question. In a figure given below, ABC is an equilateral triangle, D is the midpoint of BC, thank you, D is the midpoint of DC, DP and DQ are perpendicular. If you straight away look at this figure, this is nonsense. Since I'm going to be a brave guy, I can't deal with nonsense figure, so we're going to draw good figures. So let's start drawing good figures, something like that. Let's draw reasonably good figure. That will be my A, that will be my B, that will be my C, that's my D. Let's draw perpendicular, rough, reasonable perpendicular. That looks like a perpendicular. That looks like a perpendicular, right? And now what is the P for PD to find out? Area of PDA. What is the PDA of this guy? No, PDA times the area of QDA. Which means if this is A, that thing to be A square, correct? Area of PDC, which is this guy, times the area of QBC. If this is B, this area should be same, divided by B square. So he is asking you to find the area of this guy, A, area of this guy, unka square. Now look at this 3:1, look at this 2:1, look at this 5:4, look at this 9:1, you're squaring it, look at this figure, and you tell me, touch your heart and tell me what the answer. I am getting 9:1 and all of you are right. Answer choice is 9:1 and we'll move on. Yeah? One more. So, okay, now I'm going to use brave. Be brave, guys. I'm going to help you. I'm going to draw the figure and answer this. We're going to draw and answer this question. Triangle ABC. Okay, let's draw triangle ABC. Triangle A, triangle B, triangle C. D, E, F are midpoints of BC. D is the midpoint of BC. Alright, this is my BC, that's my D. E is the midpoint of AD. Oh shit, E is the midpoint of AD. That's my E. Roughly okay, seems okay. F is the midpoint of B. F is the midpoint of B. That looks like my F, which is fine. And G is the midpoint of FD. G is the midpoint of FD. That's my G. What is the ratio of area of EGD? Where is EGD? EGD, that looks like EGD. Yes, this guy. What is the ratio of this area to area of AEC? Which is AEC? AEC. So this ratio is to this ratio. Now obviously this ratio is small. If this ratio is small, this is gone. You tell me, guys, does it look like a 1:4 or does it look like a 1:16? Are the brave guys telling me 1:16? How is it 1:16? What is 1:16? I'm going to draw this guy 16 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Too big. Look at this guy, look at this guy. Huh? 1:4 all the way for all the brave guys. Answer choice correct. Let's move on. Alright. I want the brave ones again. Be brave. Figure is good. What is the triangle scaling? Three-party. We'll worry later. Okay. I think somebody already gave me. What does it look like angle? This angle is all that he's asking. Be brave. 150. Lot of you give 150. 150. There you go. 120. No 120. This is not 75, this is 95. Let's be able to understand what does 135 mean. 135 is 90 plus 45. What does it imply? That is a 90. That's a 45. This is 135. This, does it look like a 135? Yeah, so it is not 135. It can't be 120, which is much less than 135. Answer is 150. For all the brave ones, answer is correct. So time to be brave again. Okay, now this is somebody's asking me to repeat. This is not, this. What? This is Euclid. Remember, guys, Euclid. This is like a Euclid method, right? So this figure is good. All you want to find out what is this angle. How does that look like? 70, can it be 75 degree? It is anyway obtuse. Can it be 90 degree? No. What is the 135 degree? You first draw a 90 degree and draw a 45 degree. That's like a guy who has gone to the gym for a long time. Why can't it be 120 degree? 120 degree will be what? 120 degree is what? This is 90 degree. How much more do you need? You just need 30 more. So that'll be like 120 degree, This triangle doesn't look equilateral. It looks equilateral. I don't know. All right, let's continue. Yeah, let me tell you this works in about 10 geometry questions. Probably this will work in about 1 or 2 times type of question. But yes, when it works, it's good. A circle with radius 2 is placed against the right angle triangle. This is perfect. Another smaller circle is also placed as shown in the adjoining figure. Awesome. What is the radius of the smaller circle? Can we estimate always? If the figure is good, you can estimate. Baba, always understand, geometry is about shapes and signs. Start trusting geometry. A lot of people are saying, so what you have to do is convert this. Root 2 is 1.4. 1.4 into 2 is 2.8. 3 minus 2.8, this is about 0.2. 4 minus 2.2, 2.2 what? 0.8, this is 1.2, right? 4 root 2, how much is 4 root 2, yeah? Root 2 is 1.4, 1.4, 2.8, so this is about 0.6, right? I got lost. 1.4, 2.8, 2.8 into 2 is 5.6, 6 minus 5.6, 0.4. And this will be 1.4. All right, great. Okay. So this distance, again, paper. You can use paper. Brave guys, I'm talking to you only you. This is given as 2. That looks like about 1-ish. That looks pretty close to 1, 0.8, 0.4 radius. You can take the paper and do it. Yeah, Diksha. Perfect. Now, for example, let's look approximation. And we will still do approximation. These approximation works perfectly. Okay. We are now going to do geometric approximation. Now listen carefully. It says a square is inscribed in a circle and the circle is inscribed in regular octagon. Something like that. If you're scared that you're going to be caught using the paper, please don't use paper. I told you these methods are only for the brave ones. Yeah, nothing will happen actually. I'll come back. I'll repeat all the questions at the end, guys. Let me carry on. Is that okay? I'll repeat, Anisha, previous questions. I'll repeat all the questions. Just let's carry on for the moment. Okay. Now, what is that we need to find out? We need to find out the area of the square to that of octagon. Area of octagon we don't know, but we can handle area of circle. So, what is the answer to question number 4th option? Yeah, 34. Yeah. Anyways, let's continue. Area of octagon we have no idea, but area of square we know. This is only slightly extra things, right? So, instead of looking at this octagon, we'll approximate that to the area of the circle. Let's do that first. Okay. Let's approximate that to the area of circle. And the second thing that we're going to do is we'll do additional approximation. Let's assume the radius of the circle is equal to 1. If the radius of the circle is equal to 1, area of the circle is pi r square, which is pi into 1 square is pi. Approximate value of pi, we're going to take as 3. We know it's 3.14. I'm going to take as 3. The area of octagon, or in this case circle, is approximately equal to 3. Now square is fine. This is 1, this is 2. This will be 2 by root 2, right? That will be 2 by root 2. That makes it 2 by root 2, 2. So this area of this square will be equal to 2. So what essentially we need to find out is area of this square, right? So that's about 2 by 3. That is approximately about 66%. Now let's check options. Okay. What does can't say? Obviously we can say. Okay. So we'll eliminate option number 4. We have root 2. Root 2 is 1.4. 1.4 plus 1 is 2.4. 2.4 upon 4, about 0.6. Option 1 is saying 60%. Option B is saying 2 root 2. 2 root 2. Root 2 is 1.4. 1.4 is 2.8. 2.8 minus 1 is 0.8. 0.8 minus, right, no, it's 0.8 divided by 4. I say go a little slow, alright. I'm saying root 2 is 1.4. 1.4 into 2 is 2.8. 2.8 minus 1 is 0.8. 0.8 divided by 4, I think is 0.2. 0.2 is 20%. So what I'm basically doing is converting this into numbers that I can understand. This is saying 60%. This is saying 20%. It's 1.8, is it? I'm so sorry. 2.8 or 1.8. So 1.8 divided by 4. 1.8 divided by 4 is 0.9. 0.9 divided by 45. No, this is about 45%. So sorry. As option 2 is 45%. Option 3 is 1.4 minus 1. 1.4 minus 1 is 0.4. 0.4 divided by 4 is 0.1. This is 10%. So basically what I've done is, let me remove all this khichdi. What I've done is I've approximated this and said that it's about 66%. This option is saying 60%. This option is saying 45%. This option is saying 10%. You tell me which is the right answer choice. Does it look like a 45%? It looks like a 60%. That's about it. Yeah, alright. Brave. Let's move on. Yeah, approximate, guys. Yeah, approximate. Be brave. Let's look at this question. Okay, let's do this. Okay. ABCD is area of a square. AC and BD are arc AC and B drawn to the square ABCD with centers D and C respectively. Alright, the figure looks good. Find the ratio of the area of the shaded region to that of the area of square ABCD. Area of the shaded region, how much does it look like? 50%, 40%, 60%, 90%. Put some figure in mind. Okay, we'll come back to this. Okay, about 60% people are saying. Awesome. 45%, they look 2/3, look 60%. Approximately equal to an equilateral triangle. Great, awesome. About 60%. Great, let's stick to that. Let's deal with option number 1. Option number 1, we're going to approximate pi to be 3. And we're going to take root 3 to be 1.6. I will not take 1.7. I'll take 1.6 because I'm dividing by 4. Easy to do. 3 by 3 is 1. 1 minus 1.6 divided by 4. How much is 1.6 divided by 4? 0.8, 0.4. 1 minus 0.4 is 0.6. Option number 1 is telling us 60%. Okay. Option number 2. Now look at this option. This is 2 times 3 by 3. 3 gets cancelled. 2 minus root 3 by 4. 2 minus 0.4, 1.6. What does 1.6 mean? 160%. Now you tell me, how can this shaded area be 160%? More the area of the square. Therefore 2 cannot be the answer. Look at this guy, 3 pi by 2, 3 pi is 1, 9 by 2, 4.5 minus the small number. How can it be greater than 300%? Can't be the answer. Let's look at this guy, pi by 3 minus root 3 by 2, pi by 3, pi I'm going to take it as 3, 3 divided by 3 is 1, root 3 is 1.6 approximately, 1.6 divided by 2 is 0.8, this is about 0.2. So option number 3 and option number 4 is telling me 20%. You tell me, does it look like a 60%, does it look like a 20%? I'm sure all of you are going for 60% and that's the right answer choice. I believe this was a cat question. Okay, 5 answer choice and it will again work. Let's start. 2 circles, both of radius 1. There is no diagram, so pardon me, my diagram I will try and make intersect such that the circumference of each one passes through the center of the other. Circumference of each one passes through the center of other. Something like that. Okay. What is the area of the intersecting region? I want to find the area of the intersecting region. Okay, radius is 1. Therefore, area of this circle will be how much? Pi r square, pi 1 square will be equal to pi. Pi, I'm going to approximate this to be equal to 3. Alright, so let's now, okay, let's forget that circle. Oh shit, sorry, everything went. So this was one circle, and there was another circle which came something like this. Let's not worry about another circle, right? This is the area that we want. What we got is this area to be 3 because radius equal to 1, pi r square approximately equal to pi. Pi we have taken as 3. Now guys, tell me, how much is this? Half of that? Half of 3? 1.5. So it should be slightly less than 1.5, right? Half of 3 is this part will be 1.3. This is slightly less than 1.5. Okay. Area should be around slightly less than 1.5. Let's look each of the answer choice. Answer choice number 1, pi by 3 minus root 3 by 4. The same. Pi by 3 again we said is 1. 1 minus root 3 by 4. 1 minus root 3 by 4 is 0.6, right? So these are 0.6. We want 1.5. 0.6 looks too low. Now look at option 2. 4. If I take pi to be equal to 3, pi 3 and will cancel. 4 plus something. The area of this circle is only 3 or approximately 3. This shaded region is inside that. How can this be the answer? This is what? 2 plus something. How can it be 2 plus something? It has to be less than 1.5. If you look at answer number choice 4, 2 minus root 3. Root 3 is 1.6 by 2.8. So about 1.2. This is pretty close. And this is 4 pi by 3 minus root 3 by 4. 4 minus a small value. It has to be less than 3, in fact. So this also goes. So tell me whether it is 0.6 or 1.2. Lot of brave guys said, now you're, yeah, great guys, yeah, 1.2, that's the answer. This jugaad technique, and it works. Huh? Okay, little more jugaad. Huh? I think this is also cat question. This is a kind of approximation, a good approximation to learn. Okay, consider right circular cone of base radius 4 and height 10 centimeter. So we have a cone. So I'm drawing decent diagrams. Awesome. This is 10 and base radius is 4. Okay. Oh shit, it's not even a cone. What am I doing? Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, now that is fine. This is 10 and that is 4. Okay. A cylinder is to be placed inside the cone. We are trying to place a cylinder inside the cone, such that one of the flat surfaces resting on the base of the cone. One of the flat surfaces resting on the base of the cone. Find the largest possible total surface area of the cylinder. Now you can actually draw that diagram like that. Take the cylinder to be height to be h, and radius of the cylinder to be r. This to be equal to 4. This to be equal to 10. Then you can apply similar triangle funda, and then use that and find the largest possible value. There's another thing that you can do is let's do some SQC or some jugaad. So what we want to do is let's try and find out one value of a surface area, okay, of the cylinder. By the way, what is the surface area of the cylinder? Surface area of the cylinder would be 2 pi r into r plus h. 2 pi r into r plus h. Now let's imagine this. Can someone tell me what happens when h almost becomes 0? Imagine this to be a cone. I'm pushing the cylinder down. 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 Pushing the cylinder down. Pushing the cylinder down. Awesome guys. So this, when r becomes equal to 0, the radius of this will be equal to 4 of that of the circle. Awesome. So when one of the possible value is 4 into 4 plus 0. So 4, that'll be 16, 32 pi. 32 pi is one of the possible value. Okay, so some of you ask me to repeat. Let me quickly repeat, guys. All I'm basically saying is that if I push this cylinder down and saying that h becomes equal to 0, this radius becomes radius of the cone, which will be equal to 4. So 2 pi r into r plus h. When h becomes equal to 0, the radius will be equal to 4. Yeah, approximate limit x tending to 0 kind of a thing. So it will be 32 pi. Right. So because this is 4, this is 4, this is 0, 16 to the 32. Now what you see is the largest possible value. Now we got one possible value which is 32 pi. So whatever must be your answer must be greater than 32 pi. If r equal to 0, surface area will be equal to 0. So this is less than 32 pi, this is less than 32 pi, less than 32 pi, less than 32 pi. Only answer is 100 pi by 3. This is kind of combination of lot of different types of jugaad. Yeah. Now guys, again approximation. This looks very deadly and dangerous, but we're going to approximate. Look at this. This is going to infinity, and we see this value converging, which means the contribution of any terms beyond this is negligible, because here 4 के ऊपर there is one root, उसके ऊपर one more root, one more root, one more root. Next 4 will have lot of 4 roots on top of it, no? So therefore, let's just ignore this part. This is important to understand. This is like a series question, and I'm going to approximate. So let's start now, guys. Okay. How much is root of 4? Root of 4 is 2. So I'm going to do this. Root of 4 plus root of 4 minus root of 4 plus root of 4. Right. Now what we know is root of 4 equals to 2. 4 plus 2 equal to 6. So this whole thing becomes equal to 6. Right. This becomes root of 6. That becomes root of 4 plus root of 4 minus root of 6. Now how much is root of 6? A good way to think of root of 6 is think 600. What? 25 square is 625. 24 square approximately 2.4. So this is 2.4. This whole thing becomes 2.4. 4 minus 2.4 makes it 1.6. So now the question has become, this has become 1.6. All of this. Root of 1.6. Think 160. 13 square is 169. So about 1.3. This will be 1.4 plus 1.3 is 5.3. 529 is what? 30. What is that? 23 square, right? Yeah, 23 square. Yeah, thank you. Shit, my bad. Math is going bad. So the whole thing has basically become root of 2.3. So what I'm basically saying is this is what I did, guys. All I did was I kept on approximating this, and I took the values 2.3. Now 2.3 must be equal to 2.3. So 2.3 cannot be equal to 3. What is root of 13? Think 1300. I think 1296 is 36 square. So this will be about 3.6. Awesome. So this is 3.6. 2.3 is not equal to this. This will go. What is 3.6 minus 1? .6 divided by 2, 1.3, not the answer. Let's look at this. 3.6 plus 1, 4.6. 4.6 divided by 2, 2.3. 2.3 equals to 2.3. That must be the answer. So that's our answer choice number 3. Awesome. Now let's look at this for example. Okay, another approximation. Now look at this. This is 1 divided by 2 plus something, and that something is 1 by 3 something, correct? So 1 by 2 is 0.5. So this guy has to be slightly less than 0.5. Is that okay? It is 1 by 2 plus something. This guy has to be slightly less than 0.5. Let's now approximate. Root of 11. Think 1100. What is that? 34. Approximate about 3.3, 3.4. Yeah. Root of 15. Think 1500. I think about what? 3.9. Yeah. Okay. So this becomes root of 11 approximately 3.4. 3.4 plus 3 is 6.4. 6.4 divided by 2 is 3.2. How can it be 3.2 when it is about 0.5? So one is not the answer. Even if you look at option 3, this is 3.9 plus 3 divided by 2. How can it be greater than 1? Not the answer. Look at this. 3.4 minus 3 is 0.4. 0.4 divided by 2 is 0.2. And this is 3.9 minus 3 divided by 2 is 0.9 divided by 2 is 0.45. Now all we have to do, let me just clear all these things here. And this is approximately equal to 0.2. This is approximately equal to 0.45. This is 1 by 2 point what? Approximately 33 will be close to this particular value. Answer is option number 4. Okay, let me repeat this, guys. Yeah, option 4. Quickly, all that I've done is this is 1 by 2 plus 1 by 3 plus 1 by 2. No, approximate that. No, 1 by 2 plus 1 by 3.5. 1 by 3.5, roughly what? 0.3 approximately, I think so. Yeah, it's about 1 by 2.3, approximately close to about 0.45, 0.46, and then you approximate these things and you get the value. You'll get the answer to be option number 4. Dangerous looking graph. Yeah, but we can still answer these kind of questions. Sorry. So let's first quickly look at this function. That function is given as 2 mod x plus 3 greatest integer x. I hope you know what is greatest integer x mean. Okay. Now let's start. Let's start with the favorite number. When x equal to 0, yeah, substitute number, not the answer. When x equal to 0, y should be equal to 0. When x equal to 0, y is equal to 0, not there. This answer goes. When x equal to 1, y should be equal to 5. 2 plus 3 will be equal to 5. When x equal to 1, y is equal to 5 is not the answer. When x equal to minus 1, y should be what? 2 minus 3 minus 1. X equal to minus 1, y equal to minus 1. And that is also not the answer. You can approximate answer the question. Somebody is asking me this one. Why am I saying root of? So basically, if somebody says how much is root of 6, so I know that root of 6. Think so 625 is 25 square, right? So 6.25 square. So 6.25 is 2.5 square. So this will be approximately 2.5. That's why I said when somebody says root of 6, think 600. Yeah. First one is the answer. It's not none of this. It will be first one. This okay. Yeah. Let's look at this question. And this is okay. Somebody asked me what is graph. All I've done in this graph, guys, is this. I've checked specific case. When x equal to 0, y should be equal to 0. When x equal to 0, y should be equal to 0. When x equal to 0, y is equal to 0 here. When x equal to 0, y is equal to 0 here. X equal to 0, y equal to 0 here. Not in this case. Therefore, this goes. When x equal to 1, y should be equal to 5, right? 2 into mod of 1 plus 3 into round of 1 will be equal to 5. When x equal to 1, and it should be equal to 5. Is that okay, Irfan? You understood what I did? All I did was substitute specific case of x. Check for 1, what should be the value? Check for 2, what should be the value? I'll eliminate and then answer the question. I skipped 43, okay. Achha, why did I miss anyone can do anything? Okay. I really hoping that I'll not say this, but I want to say this question. This is not relevant to actually CAT, but when I said anyone can do anything, this is probably a question of snap. If somebody asks you what is the time when 6 p.m. 7 p.m. hands will coincide, take your watch, make it coincide, check it and answer the question. That's all. So basically what I wanted to tell you is anything goes. Yeah. Yeah, no watch is allowed in CAT, so this won't work in the CAT. But maybe in some other exams where it works. I'm just saying that you use all the resources possible. See, how do I move from currently there are 50 questions in the quant section. I am using all the maths that I know, I'm able to do about 15 questions. Let's say, how do I make that 15 to 20? That leap of jump that you want to take must be these brave jumps. You try, what my suggestion is, you go back and look at all those questions in your mocks and see if this works. If it doesn't work, just chuck what I'm saying. If it works, because the last 14 years that I've been teaching, and I've seen a lot of CAT, every year you actually can find about 4 to 5 questions. At least 5 to 6 questions you can use this concept. I'm just saying, let's look at this funda. It says a function f is defined for all whole numbers by the following equation. So let's, for the time being, not worry too much of this. It says f of 16 equal to 4. So that is, so you understand what a function is, right? Let's get that understanding first. F of 1, f of 2, f of 3, so on and so forth. So function is like a sequence. So you can think of 16 as the 16th term has taken the value which is 4. The 24th term has taken the value which is 7. This has moved about 8 points. This has moved about 3 points. And you want 16 plus, that's about 40, right? That is still 40. This is a function which is moving slow or moving fast. When it moved from 16 to 24, tight mark, it has moved till 7. And how much will it move? What is this option doing here? You tell me, can it move to 3340? Can it move to 170? It's a slow moving function. How much is it jumping? 8. How much is it jumping? 16. Okay, this is jumping plus 3. This should jump plus 6 and get to an answer which is 13. You don't even have to figure out what this is. I'm just saying that when you get these tough questions, just try once. Yeah, just try once, you'll get the answer. Yeah, awesome. This is another. Some songs is playing, Suraj, not in my com. I'm not singing. Somebody else is doing it. So even in this question, repeat the previous question, please. It's a simple logic. Okay, let me anyway quickly repeat this. All I'm saying is what it says. The 16th term is 4. The 24th term is 7. What is the 40th term? How much it has jumped? It has jumped 8. How much it has jumped? It has 16. It can't jump this much, no? It has jumped 3. Probably it will jump 6. It will go to 13. How did option 1 get eliminated? Because it is 4 to 7, 7 to 10, which means it's plus 3 jump. But upper 16 to 24 is an 8 jump. 24 plus 40 is a 16 jump. Does this concept apply to most questions? Not necessarily. It looked logical. That's about it. Let's look at this question, for example. This is 10 is not lows. The logic of 10 is very far, Pranay. Because 7 to what? 4 to 7 and 7 to 10 is an equal jump. But from 16 to 24 and 24 to 40 is not an equal jump. So 10 is not close at all, Pranay. From a logic point of view, it is not close as an action answer, yeah? So it says an ant starts from point A and crawls along the surface of the cylinder to reach point B. Like that. The path followed by the ant is equal to that of 4 identical spirals as shown in the figure. 4 identical spirals is in this figure. Find the radius of the circle that circumscribes the square, so the perimeter of the square is equal to the distance traversed by the ant. By this time, I'm sure most of it have hit next button. But if I'm kind of forced to answer this question, let's use a brave method. Let's see if you're forced to answer this question. Okay. Let's say that he's saying that the path followed by the ant is equal to that of 4 identical. So this, let's say this is a path followed by ant. Let's say that's the length L. Then it says that find the radius of the circle, the circumference of the square such that the perimeter of the square is equal to the distance traveled by the ant. If this is L, I converted that into a square. That makes it L by 4, right? And then there is a circle that circumferences that particular square, and I need to find the radius of that. Okay. So what we'll try and do is, one of the things that we could do is, let's take one value, which is kind of one jugaad value. and just check whether it works. Now, the shortest distance, just a second guys, yeah, am I audible now? There are some feedback that I'm not audible. Yeah, thank you. All right. So what I'm saying is, okay, the shortest distance ant can travel is from A to B, right? Like this, straightforward. The shortest distance ant can travel is 16. Therefore, the shortest length would be 16. Therefore, the shortest perimeter of the square will be 16. So therefore, square would be, the shortest side of the square would be 4. And when you draw a circumcircle, the shortest diameter is going to be 4 root 2, and therefore the shortest radius would be 2 root 2. The shortest radius is 2 root 2. 2 into 1.4 is 2.8. Whatever is the answer must be definitely greater than 2.8. 5.2 is not greater than 2.8. Same is root 5 by 2, and same is root 5 by 3, and 5 by root 2. Okay, now this is just a small jugaad, so that I'm just taking, if something doesn't work, maybe something else works. Somebody, if you, I'm repeating, hold on, I'm just repeating. I'm just saying that he wants the ant to go like that. Alright, let the ant go like that. But what I'm saying is, I don't know, let's for once assume that I don't know this concept. But let me try some jugaad and get the answer to this question. Let's take the shortest distance ant can travel will be straight, no? The shortest distance ant can travel is straight. Therefore, the shortest length of the ant is 16. This is the minimum possible length. Whatever is your answer must be greater than this. This must be greater than 16. Right. If it is 16, the minimum side should be 4. This diagonal will be 4 root 2. Therefore, the circumradiance will be 2 root 2. So, the minimum circumradiance, okay, you asked one the radius of the circle, minimum circumradiance is 2 root 2. Root 2 is 1.4, 2.8. Your answer has to be greater than 2.8. Therefore, this the option gets eliminated. This may not work every time, but this is one of those questions you have done everything. I don't know what to do. Maybe one more question. Let me just try. This is the kind of thing that you probably try in round 2 or round 3, where nothing was. Maybe some jugaad if you can get the answer to that question. Now, there are also this, I'm just going to take this this question to help you understand the importance of not leaving a question without reading. Please always read the question. Okay. Don't go by that area of of the question. Normally we look at this height, we look at this length, we kind of figure out mental area. The area is too much, therefore we will not answer the question. That's a bad way to do that. Okay. Always read. Okay. Now here is very simple one. All that it says, suppose the seed of any positive integer n is defined as follows: seed of n equal to n if n less than 10. See, you may not be able to understand what this means, but there is a great thing that helps us, which is, for example, it says seed of 7 is 7, seed of 2, 4, 8. So what has he done? First he has taken 2 plus 4 plus 8, 2 plus 4 plus 8 is 14, then he has taken 1 plus 4 is 5, and therefore 5. Basically, seed is a digit sum. Or what is the seed of, let's say, 124? All that is saying, add 1 plus 2 plus 4, that will be equal to 6. That is the digit sum. So it says how many positive integers that n less than 500 have a seed of n equal to 9. So digit sum equal to 9. We know this concept. All the numbers which are the digit sum equal to 9 are numbers divisible by 9. So all that is asking, how many numbers less than 500 is divisible by 9. What you need to do is you have to read this, understand this, read this, till there. This is the CAT question. The answer is 55. So looks don't tell the truth, guys. You read a question and answer this. Yeah? Alright. This is seed of 124 is 7. Varun Shukla, thank you. Yeah. So this, okay, let me just skip this one. Let's take this 2. Okay. Now let's take this question. It says this is also CAT question. These are all multiple questions. In multiple questions, actually you can use choices. Let's do this question and explain what I want to tell you. It says in the figure 1 and 2 are circles with the centers P and Q. Awesome. Circles with centers P and Q. The two circles touch each other and have common tangent that touches them at point R and S. Common tangent that touches at point R and S. This common tangent meets the line joining PQ at O. Joining PQ at O. If the diameter of 1 and 2 are 4:3. So this diameter, let's say, is 4A. This diameter will be equal to, so if the ratio of the diameter is same as the ratio of the radius, right? So it's okay. It's also know that PO equal to 28 centimeters. It's given that PO equal to 28 centimeters. Okay. Let's start. So what is given here is, this is 4A, this is 3A. That's the ratio. This distance equal to 28 centimeters. And you are given what is the ratio of the length of PQ is to QO, PQ is to QO. To find the answer to this question, all we need to know is the length of PQ. Question number 50 is saying, what is the radius of circle 2? If I know the radius of circle 2, I will know the radius of PQ. These two are interconnected, therefore this answer must also be interconnected. Right? So what we can do is, instead of actually solving it, can I actually use the options to answer this question? You can also do this by measuring, yeah, Ashmit, definitely. But you can also look at this. What is the radius of circle 2? It is 4:3. Sorry, 4A and 3A. Which option do you want to check with first? Let's go with the 3. Alright, if this is 3, this is equal to 4, therefore this distance equal to 7, this distance becomes equal to 7, this is 28, therefore this distance equal to 21, and this ratio is how much? 1:3. You can find that in question number 1, and therefore you know that that must be the answer. You check everything else, you will not get it so smoothly. So you can bet on this. So all I've done, Dada, all those questions is that what I'm given is this is 4, ratio is 4:3, right? It says what is the radius of the circle 2 and what is the ratio of length of PQ and QO. So whatever is the answer here must correspond to an answer here because these two are connected. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this answer to answer this question. It is 4:3. If this is 3, my mind is saying in all probability it should be a multiple of 3, right? So I'm just checking what happens if it is 3. If this distance is 3, this distance will be equal to 4. 4 plus 3 gives me a 7. Therefore, this whole distance was 28. Therefore, this gives me 21. This question is asking me a ratio of 7:21. That is 1:3. I can see that in all probability is 2. And once you get these two things, length of SO, this is what? 3. This is a 90 degree. This is 21. Pythagoras theorem. You can also get the answer to that question. You'll find answer to that question. Just a second, guys. Okay, this I've taken. I'm just going to take some questions from mock 10. I'm just going to take some questions from mock 10 just to help you understand that. Can you see the slide? Just a second. Oh, just wait for a second. Just give me 2 seconds. I think now you can see all the slides. Okay, I'm just taking. I can see yes, I can see no, okay, not yet. Give me yes, okay, I can see a lot of yes. Yes, okay, no. Okay, yes, mock 10. I'm just using mock 10 walas a few questions. That's all I'm doing. Okay. For example, this was a question 2 in mock 10. Let's use our Jugaad or SQC. Okay. He wants to find the value of this particular guy. Now if it is true for any value of b and y, it must be true for my value of b and y. What is my favorite number? My favorite number, I'm going to use 1. Can you guys see? Doesn't Preet is saying, yeah, a lot of you can see, a lot of you can't see. Okay, let me just wait for about 30 seconds before I start this. Alright, let me start. Okay, I'm going to just take b equal to 1 and I'm going to take y equal to 1 and see what happens. If it is true for my value of any value of b and y, it must be true for my value of b and y. So if I take, what will this will be 1 by 3 minus 1 by 1 minus 1 by 1, which will be 1, plus this will be what? 2 by 3. This will be 2 by 3 plus 1 by 3 is 1. 1 minus 1 equal to 0. Answer is D. It is after. You can take b to be equal to 0 as well. Yeah, you can also take b to be equal to 0 and y to be equal to 1. Again, you will get to be equal to, yeah, of course you can take. And let's look at this question. I'm just going to give you some simple. When it's going to end, Sumit, another 20 minutes, 15 minutes, repeat. Oh guys, all I've done is just take a value b equal to 0 and let's say y equal to 1. Substitute. What will you get? 1 minus 1 plus 0. This expression becomes equal to 0. For this particular value, expression becomes equal to 0. I'm saying the value has to be 0. That's it. If you look at this, sum of square of 3 consecutive odd natural number is BBB. So I know odd plus odd must give me an odd number. Therefore, BBBB must be an odd number. If BBB must be an odd number, B has to be an odd number. What is the value of B? How can it be 8 and how can it be 2? Then all you have to do is check for 1 1 1 1 and check for 5 5 5 5. And then you can do some little bit of jugaad and get the answer to this question. Yeah. Let's see if I can use some more. Yeah, these are the kind of questions. Yeah, these are the. Check it out. Again here, question number 17. You have xy plus yz plus zx equal to 0. You just take xy plus zx plus yz equal to 0. X into y plus z plus yz equal to 0. Then you get x equal to minus yz divided by y plus z. What you do is take x equal to 2, take y equal to 2, take z equal to 2, get a value of x, plug in here and answer this question. And then you'll get the answer to be, I believe, equal to 0. This is another one. This is, yeah, so, which ones? This is logarithm question. Was an easy one. Let me see if I can get something. Yeah, even try. Yeah, so guys, I'm just yeah. Even this question you can do. A lot of questions you can do. Jugaad, all right. So let me just. All right, guys. So yeah, so I'm more or less. So I've just taken one mock and help you understand is that you can see it's like this. No, for example, if you take, let me go to the whiteboard. For example, if you take your section 1 and if you take your section 2, this comprises quant, this comprises DI, this comprises what? Logical reasoning, reading comprehension, and English usage. I believe this is about 35 questions approximately. This is about 15 questions. This is about what? 15 questions. This is about 15 questions. This is about 20 questions. So we have 50. Our target is to get, I'm saying net correct, about 25. 20 to 25. Net correct, huh? wrong sab pakad ke, not attempt. Net correct about 20 to 25. Here we want to get net correct about 25%, about 50% and about 45% here to get a good percentile. And the first thing, so the key is what? So think of your test as these 5 chunks, okay guys? QI, DI, LR, RC and EU. Think of this as 5 chunks. You have 170 minutes. If you divide by 5, I believe that is 34. So it's about kind of giving 34 minutes. But I think that EU does not require 20 minutes. It's about giving about what? 40 to 50 minutes here. About 35 to 40 minutes here. About 35 to 40 minutes here. About 35 to 40 minutes here. About 20 minutes here. Most of the time what happens is you are not giving time to each of these sections. And try and get about what? 8 to 9 questions from here. And the remaining about 12 types. And so what you need is about 12 questions from 35. So 12 from 35. You are hoping that about 4 to 5 from pure SQC techniques. And remaining 8 from your math. And you are hoping that you'll get about 8 to 9. Something like that, yeah? So yeah guys, so thank you for being with me guys. My name, okay, you can contact me at Gejo at careerlauncher.com. Please understand the concept. We'll approximate, we'll convert general to specific, we'll convert specific to general. In geometry, we'll do everything. We will guess, we will be brave, we'll try. And the key is now is that when you go back and look at all the mocks, guys, and force yourself to answer the question. And maybe you will get your own techniques. So let me take some questions. Thank you, Karan. Hope you enjoyed. So have a great night. It's still somebody wants to answer the question. Question number. Yeah, it's for those of you, can you just mail me the question that please mail me any queries that you have. Yeah, there are a lot of requests that is happening now. I'll not be able to do everything, so just mail me. I'll answer the question, or you can WhatsApp me at this number. I'll try and help. Twitter ID, I don't have one. I don't use. I'm saying you mail me, WhatsApp me, talk to me, yeah, for any questions. Facebook, yes, Facebook. That's my name. Thank you, Smith. God bless you and good night. Good night, guys. Yeah, Karthik, go sleep. Yeah, Vidhi, thanks. Good night. Arindam, good night. Raman, Pranay, good night. Yash, bye. Naman, bye. Thanks a lot, guys. Good night.